Hello class 5. Today we will continue with the chapter force, work and energy. In the previous day, in the previous class we have done what is force and its effects, what are the effect of force and different types of forces. Today please open page 80, page 80, page 80. We will continue from force and work. So force we have done, we will start with work. You do work when you push a cart. Cart means a cage, a carriage with a rod with which we used to carry goods. You have to use force to do this work. So when you are pushing it, you need some force to do, some force to apply. This shows that you have to apply force to do work that we have already read. However, you use less force to move an empty cart and more force to move a cart full of things. It is quite obvious when the cart or the cart it is empty, it is easier for you to carry, and when it is heavy with loads and goods, it will be a difficult one for you. Therefore, you do more work while moving the full cart than while moving the empty one. It is also easy to understand that you have to work more when it is loaded, and when it is empty, it will be easier for you to work, or the force will be less amount. Machine helps us to do work. A sewing machine helps us to stitch clothes, and a washing machine helps us to wash clothes more easily and faster. Now see, sewing machine we know in a tailoring shop, if you have went over there, the tailors used to sew with the sewing machine, and washing machines, more or less we all have washing machine in our house, and we used to wash. It has helped us to make it easy, isn't it? We don't have to do it manually, we don't have to do it with our hand. It is a automatic machine. Yes, smaller machines like scissor, knives and tweezer also make our job easy. So scissor we know, knife also we know, and tweezer means when your mother used to cook chapati or roti, they used to use tweezer to turn it around. In Bengali we call it chimte. Yes. Now we have used the term simple machine and complex machine. So we will read about simple and complex machine. A sewing machine and a washing machine are made of many parts. They are thus called complex machine. So what do we understand from that? The machines which are having many parts. See, in a part we have to keep soap, in a part we will keep the clothes, then we will on it, then the water will come. So many different parts are being used in a washing machine, and all together they are working. So many, the machine which are having many parts, the machine is called complex machine. Like scissor, knives and tweezer are made of very few parts. You see scissor, it's only two parts are there. One is the handle one, and another one the part which is cutting. Knives also like that, where one part you are holding, another part you are putting force, and it is cutting the particular material. And tweezer are very few parts. They are called simple machine. So what is the basic difference between complex machine and simple machine? The machine which are having many parts are called complex machine. What will be the example you will give? That is washing machine and sorry, I forgot. Washing machine and yes, washing machine and sewing machine. And the simple machine are very used to be handled, and they are having less parts of the less parts. So they are scissor and knives and tweezer. They help us to do work by using force more effectively. So we are using these machines to make our job more easy. There are 6 basic simple machines: the lever, the inclined plane, the wedge, screw, pulley and wheel and axle. So first we will read that what are the 6 basic simple machines. So what are they? Lever, inclined plane, wedge, screw, pulley and wheel axle. Now slowly we will one by one we will read what are they. First we will read about lever. This is very important. You must understand lever. Many drawings are there. You will get it in PDF. But first you have to understand. Yes. The lever. Number one, the first simple machine. Suppose you are asked to move a heavy boulder. Boulder means a big stone, heavy stone, which you can see near sea beaches. Yes. You may find it very difficult to do so. So if you are told, even not you, you are too small, even if it is told to us, it is very difficult for us to move a big boulder, isn't it? But if you are given a strong rod and a small stone, you can move the boulder more easily by using the rod as shown. See, what happens? Suppose this is a big boulder and you are told to put it up or replace it from one piece to the other. It becomes very difficult. So here in the book it is telling that if there is a rod and if there is a stone, it will be helpful for you to lift it. How? It will be explained in the next part of the chapter. The rod will be kept here and this stone will take the entire pressure of this huge stone, and the person who is standing, it will put the force or the pressure or the energy over here, and this will work as a support and they can easily lift it upward. Do you understand what I say? This is a big stone, this is a rod, this is you or me, whoever it may be, maybe, and this is a small stone. So if you are told to pull it up and replace it, it will be difficult for you. But if there is a stone and if there is a rod, the stone will be the support. It is called the fulcrum, that we will read later on in the later part of the chapter. And this rod is helping to lift the stone up easily. Yes. Look at the illustration and note the following points. Now see what I have explained here, it is written in the book. The boulder is the load. It is called load. That has to be moved. So you have to move it. One end of the rod is put under the boulder. So here, suppose this is a rod and it is put under the boulder. Okay. So the small stone supports the rod. This is a small stone which is supporting this rod. Okay. Touches the stone, is fixed and does not move. So this point should be like that, so that the rod which is being fixed over here, it does not move from the particular top of the stone. Does not move. It is called the fulcrum. So this is the fulcrum, as I have told you. So this is load because this is heavy. Fulcrum. What is fulcrum? That I will come in the later part. And fulcrum is the main support which is holding a rod or a particular thing which will not fall. That we will come in the later part. See, the rod is getting a support on the stone, and what is happening? It is called fulcrum. The rod is free to turn around the fulcrum. So suppose here I am describing again. Suppose this is the small stone and the rod is being placed like that. See, here it is free. It is free to move around 360 degree. We know a full circle is called 360. The degree or the total degree is 360. So if we place it and if we move it, the rod is free to move. Like in the same way, the fulcrum, this is called fulcrum or this is called fulcrum. If this is placed like this and the rod is placed like this, it is taking the entire support of the load or the heavy amount what you have to pull up. Yes. You will push down at the other end of the rod to shift the boulder. So what the person will do, with the help of the hand, they will push the rod downward and thus the big stone will be lifted up, isn't it? So how it is becoming easy? Because the person, the people who is standing over here is getting the support of the stone, and with the help of the support, with the help of the pressure, the stone is taking the entire load, entire pressure over the of the load, and it is being lifted up easily. You will push down at the other end of the rod to shift the boulder. So if you give pressure on the rod, what will happen? The boulder will go up. This push or force applied to move the load is called effort. So the force or the work which is being done by the person is called the effort. So in a lever where a load, a fulcrum and an effort given by the when there is a load, when is a fulcrum, and when there is a effort, these three in total, it is called a lever. So a lever is having mainly three parts. There will be one load, one fulcrum, and one effort. Okay. Now see, here we will read about three different levers, and the placement of these three factors of load, these three factors of lever like load, fulcrum and effect, these three are generally alternate in case of different types of lever. That we will read first class lever, second class lever and third class lever. In some cases the load is at the end and the effect is at the end and the fulcrum is in the center. In second case, the fulcrum is in a side, the load is in between and the effect is at the end. So the placement where these particular factors are staying, depending on that, we will divide lever into three different groups. Please go to the next page. This arrangement of a rod free to move around a fixed point, a rod is called a lever. So when there is a fixed point where the rod is being balanced and it is free to move, it is called a lever. Levers are grouped into three types depending on the position of the effort, load and fulcrum. So as I have told you that there are three different types of lever and they depend on the particular position of these three factors, that is load, fulcrum and effect. Do you understand? Yes. So the three types of the three types of levers are having three different positions of these three factors. Okay. Now let's start with the first class lever. See, in case of first class lever, see what it is telling: load, fulcrum and effort. So here in case of first class lever, the load is in one end, the fulcrum is middle and the effort is on the other hand of the rod. In this type of lever, the fulcrum is placed between the effort and the load. So here it is the fulcrum, it is the effort and here it is the load. So this is the quality of first class lever. Okay, do you understand? I want to show you some example if I get. Okay, now see what it is telling. The seesaw in your school playground is first class lever. Scissor, claw, hammer and pliers are other example of first class lever. So see, in case of scissor, what happens? Suppose this is a scissor and this is the junction and here it's the handle. So what is happening? See, this is in case of scissor, this is the fulcrum, which is the middle point. See, in first class lever, the fulcrum is in center, effort is given over here and here the load will be taken. Suppose the thing which you want to, suppose this is a piece of paper, here it is the effect, it is the load and here the effort is been given. Effort means the pressure or the force which you are giving. So when you are taking a paper and you are cutting with the scissor, what is happening? You are taking the paper, you are cutting with the scissor, and here is the handle. So you are giving the effect here. The load is here and the fulcrum is at the center. So effect, load and fulcrum. In case of scissor, claw hammer and plier are the other example of first class lever. See in your book page 82. See claw hammer and this seesaw is the example. See here a boy and a girl is sitting both side and the fulcrum is in between. The part of the seesaw which is balancing this rod, isn't it? Just like this. Do you understand? And here the effect and here the load. Load is the given by the boy and thus the girl is sitting upward. When the girl will give the load, the effect will be over there and the load will be here, just the reverse, and the fulcrum is in the center. In case of claw hammer, please see the hammer is over here, the load is here because the person has to pick out the nail from here. So the effect or the force which is given by the person is effect, and the fulcrum is the part where the hammer and the particular board is standing, joining together, and here is the load. So this is the explanation of the first class lever, where one side is effect, another side is load, and in between there is fulcrum. Now we will go to the second class lever. In this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the rod and the effort is applied at the other end. The load lies between the fulcrum and the effort. So, I think you have written this. So, I will rub it. In case of second class lever, what happens? Second class lever, what is happening? Here, the load is in the center. This is the load, this is the fulcrum, and this is the effort. Okay. Now see, in this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the rod and the effort is applied at the other end. The load lies in between. Wheelbarrow, bottle opener and nutcrackers are the example of second class lever. Now see, please go to the next page, page 83 at the top. See the drawing of the second class lever is given over here. Here the load is at the center. One side is his fulcrum and another side is his effort. Now see, in case of bottle opener, suppose this is a bottle and there's a bottle opener which you are holding with your finger. Okay. Now what is happening? See, the place where both the materials, means through which you are giving your effort to the particular object or to the load, the joining part is always called the fulcrum. Now see, here you are giving the effort and here is the load. See, the same thing is drawn over here. Yes. So the effort you are putting to open the bottle, you have to give a force or effort on the bottle. If you in a summer season when you drink cold drinks in a shop, what do the shopkeeper do? They used to take the bottle with your hand, and the bottle is the load. The fulcrum is the joining part of the bottle opener and the lid of the bottle, and the pressure of the force which is given by the person is called effort. So, with the help of the bottle opener, the person who is opening the bottle is the part of effort. So, what is the difference between first class and the second class lever? In first class lever, please see in this context, I must say you something. There will be difference between first class lever, second class lever, or it can be second class or third class lever. You will get every details in the PDF. So go through the PDF thoroughly, and if you have any problem, let me know in the comment box if you have any problem in understanding. So what is the first and foremost difference between first class and second class lever? That in first class lever we have seen the fulcrum is in the center, and in second class lever the load is in the center, and fulcrum and effort in case of first class lever, both the side, one side it is load and another side is effect. And here in case of second class lever, the fulcrum and effort are in both side of the rod, and in the center there is the load. Third class lever. In this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the lever and the load is at the other end. The effort is applied between the fulcrum and the load. Fishing rod, tweezer and tongs are the example of third class lever. Now we will come to the next one, that is the third class lever. In case of third class lever, what is happening? In case of third class lever, what is happening? The fulcrum is at the end. See, here the pictures are given. See, it will be easier for you to understand the tweezer and the fishing rod. See, if you have gone to a sweet shop, you will see the sweet shopkeeper is taking up rasgullas with the help of tweezer, or the sweets which are having syrup or sugar syrup in it. They used to use their tweezer. What happens in case of tweezer? Tweezer looks like this. Okay, and there's a flat part in the tweezer, and suppose the shopkeeper has taken a tasty rasgulla over here, the rasgulla is over here. So what is happening? This is the fulcrum, because both the part of the tweezer are joining in the fulcrum, and what is happening? The effect and the load is being, effect means the person who is holding the tweezer, they will hold it here, no, because this passage already joined. So the effort will be given here, and here the person who is taking up the rasgulla from the dish, they will give the effort over here. So the effort is over here given, and the load is the rasgulla. Am I clear? The same thing happens with the fishing rod as well. The fulcrum is at the end, see, and the effect where the person is holding the rod, and the load which is being will be the fish who will be caught on this particular fishing rod is the load. So this basic three, in this class we have read the basic three, what is lever, and the what we have learned is that the main arrangement of these particular three factors, that is fulcrum, effort and the load, these three factors on the position, depending on that there are three different types of lever, that is the first class lever, second class lever and third class lever. So in case of drawing, I must say these three examples of three different levers will come, and along with that the drawing of one example, like in case of first class lever you can draw seesaw, second class lever you can draw bottle opener, and in third class lever you can draw tweezer or fishing rod, anything you like. Separately drawing PDF will also be provided. So in this chapter there are some drawings you have to practice, so go through it. If you have difficulty, let me know. Thank you very much.